My guess is that you're watching this video right now because you're sweltering. But I've got some good news because today I'm going to take you through what I think is the best tech to keep you cool during a heatwave. Welcome back to another episode of STU'S Reviews. It's currently 27 degrees in the United Kingdom at the moment, and I know some of you watching this from abroad will be thinking that's absolutely nothing. But to us, that's ridiculously hot because it's cold and wet and rainy all of the time here, and our houses are built as such. They're not built for this sweltering heat, so quite often you'll find loads of people complaining that they can't sleep, that they're too hot, that their house is killing them during heat waves. So I want to take you through some of my favourite tech to keep you cool. Now this is going to range between some more expensive options and some cheaper options, so there should be something out there for everybody. But wait till you see what my favourite piece of tech is. I tell you what, you're not going to believe it. But let's get started. The first piece of fan tech is for those that are stuck sat at their office desks during this horrendously hot weather. Perhaps that's a home office or an office of servitude, I don't know. But this is the Torres Monitor fan bar, and I think it's easily one of the most ingenious devices on today's list. Normally I have a BenQ light bar on top to illuminate my desk, but replacing this with the Torres fan bar means that I can get a blast of air directly at my face without taking up any room on my desk. And it's vertically directional too, so that I can have it down at my hands or at my face or somewhere in between. It's not the quietest fan in the world, especially with it right in front of your face, and it also is not the strongest, but it is possibly one of the most convenient and innovative fan ideas I've seen. This one is the first version. Apparently there's an updated, stronger and quieter one, but this one will set you back about $90, although they're a little more difficult to source at the moment. Next up for standing fans is the Dyson AM07 cooling tower fan. This thing is the pinnacle of basic standing fans, and it's sort of magic because it actually has no fan. Instead it uses some kind of Harry Potter witchery to multiply the air. They describe it as a technology that can amplify the surrounding air to give an uninterrupted stream of smooth airflow. I mean, I'm not even going to pretend to know what the hell they're talking about, but I will say now that it's fantastic. The blast of air is strong, consistent, and it's really quiet for the size. And there's no giant spinning blades, meaning inquisitive children aren't going to lose a finger. The only problem with it is that it hasn't got all the bells and whistles. It's got no purification, no humidity control, and no smart functionality either, instead having to control it with a janky infrared remote with buttons that are so small and indistinguishable, when fumbling around at night you aren't going to be able to tell what button you're pressing. There are ways around this by using infrared controllers like the Aqara smart home system I reviewed last week, but it's annoying that they haven't inbuilt any form of smart control. Oh, and for those thinking about using a smart plug, don't. When you turn it back on with the smart plug, the fan won't return to the state it was in. You'll still have to manually turn it on with the stupid remote. Cost-wise, this will set you back £350, but it's possibly one of the best purchases I've ever made and has saved me on many occasions. In fact, I think I bought this one refurbished for around 250 quid, so it's worth keeping an eye out for deals like that. Okay, so those are my two favourite standalone fans, but what about portable fans? Now there's a ton of different options out there, but let's get real for a minute. The majority of portable fans are They really are. But if you were to get one, then there's only really two kinds that I would recommend. The first would be a misting fan. These are great because you can fill up a reservoir of water and it will mist you whilst blasting a, albeit weak, current of air at your face. These are possibly the best and most effective of portable fans to keep you cool for sure, and there's tons and tons of models out there, and I've got none that I would recommend in particular. They're all mostly just cheap generic Chinese tech that may or may not burn your house down. You can get bigger standalone fans that do a similar thing, but I personally don't recommend them because they increase the humidity in the room that you're in quite significantly, so if you suffer from things like damp, they really aren't the best of ideas.
There is one other type of handheld portable fan I would recommend, and that's one of these things that plugs into the bottom of your phone. These, like the Torres fan bar, direct the air from where you're looking, so if you're enslaved to TikTok, you're going to be getting a blast of air directly at your face. Although, the position does come with a few problems if you want to access anything from the bottom of the screen. So, those are portable fans, but there's another type of fan that's portable, and that's wearable fans. Yes, you heard me, wearable. The first is possibly the most ridiculous piece of tech in today's episode, the fan hat. Now, I actually went to the desert to test this a few years back. You can see that episode in the links below. Although it's stupid looking, it's actually genius. In this version, there's a central fan in the cap that's powered by two small solar panels either side, which means when you're out and about, you're getting a hands-free stream of air constantly at your face, whilst also protecting your head from the sun and being environmentally friendly. Although it's ridiculous, it's an incredible idea, and it's one of those things that you'll see someone wearing, take the mick out of them, and then you'll secretly be annoyed because you haven't got one and are sitting there slowly melting to death. Being solar powered, it does mean that you can't use it indoors, but then again, you probably won't want to be wearing a cap indoors if it's as hot as it has been. Now, there's tons of different options out there, and as cheap as £10 like this one, so it's worthwhile investment. Even if you aren't brave enough to wear it in public, you can still sit in your garden with a nice pint and be cool. Now, if you think that looks crazy, I've got something even crazier, but it's possibly one of the best pieces of kit that I've ever used to stay cool. A neck fan. Oh. That is good. Now please trust me when I say that this thing is utterly incredible. This is another innovative product from Torres, the Coolify 2. Now I've tried a bunch of neck fans over the years, but the Coolify range is by far the most impressive. I've had the original and now I have the second version, and Christ almighty, they are good. They create a bubble of cool air around your head in a way that nothing else has come close to, which is good in itself, but it goes further than this. The Coolify 1 has a ceramic semiconductor cooling plate on the back of the neck, which feels freezing to the touch. Truth is, again, I've no idea how this actually works, but when on, this thing is so cold, it can actually send a chill down your spine. And this, added to the fans, creates a portable wearing experience like nothing else. The Coolify 2 is even more impressive. The ceramic semiconductor cooling is now spread around two massive panels either side, and it's so cold it's untrue. It's like sticking your head in a large fridge at the supermarket. Not only this, but this thing has a fan-only mode, a cooling mode, and a heating mode for colder environments. The only real criticism that I have for these is the battery life isn't the best. With the fan mode, it'll last around 18 hours, which is amazing, but with the cooling mode on, you'll only get about 2 hours use on the internal battery, so make sure that you bring a portable power pack with you if you want all-day cooling. The only other consideration is the price. One of these will cost you £160, which is not cheap by any stretch, but this is the absolute peak of personal and portable cooling, and for how good this works, that is cheap as chips.
Now there's one piece of advice that I'm going to give you, and that is, if you want to stay cool and you like the look of any of the gadgets that you've seen in this episode, buy them now if they're available, because whenever it becomes like a heat wave in this country, we all flock to devices like that stuff I've shown you today to stay cool, and they become out of stock for the remainder of that summer period. So my advice is, if you do like anything, I'll leave a link to everything in the description below. Go and take a look and buy it preemptively, and you will thank me later, I promise. But that concludes today's episode. Do you like the gadgets? Do you have any already? What do you think of them? Other than that, guys, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you back for another episode of STU'S Reviews when I wake up. This is extremely relaxing.